up, and it is scored!
For three. Got it!
With the shot, it's in!
Lights out! Good night! Goodbye!
And that's it! Marshfield wins!
It's a great serve.
Another one!
Drop! And the Rams drop one first here in the Super Bowl!
Nice.
Kick on the field, and it is
Scored! It is scored!
MCM coverage of MHS Sports is proudly presented by
Biviano General Contracting.
Biviano General Contracting is Marshfield's leading custom modular house builder. Modular building saves time and money. Only 8 to 12 weeks for the entire build, saving up to 25% of the cost compared to traditional building. We also offer custom deck building, kitchen and bathroom remodels, additions, and house elevations.
More information can be found at bivianocontracting.com.
Repel Pest Solutions. Repel Pest Solutions is a full-service pest control company protecting residential and commercial properties from nuisance pests that carry germs and diseases. They are a small, family-run business from Marshfield, licensed, insured, competitively priced. We work to understand your needs and offer an integrated pest solution that's environmentally friendly. Don't be afraid to bug us. Road to Responsibility. Founded in 1988, Road to Responsibility's mission is to provide the means, the opportunity, and the support necessary to allow citizens with disabilities to take their place as productive members of the community. We are committed to providing all individuals with opportunities to truly live in the community. Through our services, we are proud to enrich and improve the lives of every individual, one person at a time.
From James G. Anderson Field all the way in good old Marshfield, Massachusetts, we are set for girls varsity soccer. The Rams host the Middleborough Sachems in a pre-playoff game for both teams. Marshfield 8-7-3, having an all-right season. Unfortunately, they're currently on a 3-game losing streak. They lost to Hingham 2-5, Duxbury 5-0, and then North Quincy 3-2. So hopefully they look to break that streak tonight. On the other side of things, Middleborough was 10-6-2, having a good season. They were just on a 3-game win streak, beating Rising Tide 6-1, Rockland 2-1, and Bristol Plymouth 2-0. But unfortunately, that streak just ended in their last game as they lost to Apponequet High School 4-1. So both teams looking to pick up a win here tonight. Now both teams take the field. Goalies in net. Ready for some varsity soccer. Now the Rams take the field here, ready to kick things off. Middleborough won the coin toss. They are going to kick off here. Unfortunately, I was not provided with a roster for Middleborough, so unfortunately I will just be calling everybody Middleborough. But regardless here, this one's already going deep into Rams territory, right towards McNeely. Now Duffy going after things here, as well as Malve. Now this one goes to midfield here. Blanco sending it over to Rams territory. Scardina's going to chase after this one, scoop it up for the Rams. Now Scardina boots this one to the 40, right to Fierro. Now looking for Blanco, intercepted there by Middleborough. Now it's O'Mara giving chase. Ball goes out of bounds. It's a Marshfield ball. O'Mara throw this one in over off Fierro to Duffy. Duffy giving this one to Malve. Now she threads the needle between a couple Middleborough players, gives this one over to Blanco. And unfortunately, that one's going to go out of bounds for a Middleborough ball. Just a minute into the game, we've seen the ball go on both sides of the field here. No, Duffy gives this one over to Malve. Takes a shot at the net, and it goes over the head of the Middleborough goalie and just misses the net. Now Foley trying to follow things up, but it's unfortunately kicked away by Middleborough. A close call early in the game for Middleborough. Now this one back to midfield at the top of your screen here. Sarah Foley gives this one over to Pangrossi. Ball goes out of bounds for Pangrossi to throw this one in. Over to Malve, whistle blown. And I believe that was a Middleborough ball. A little miscommunication there by the Rams. In Marshfield territory here now, heading back to midfield. Foley giving chase as well as Blanco. Ball gets popped up. Rolls out of bounds for a Marshfield ball. Panagrossi throwing this one in over to Foley. Ball gets popped up at midfield. Back and forth here in the early moments of this game. Now O'Mara gives it a header. Malve pops it up here over to Affiero. She tries to give this one back to Malve, taken away by Middleborough. Now Johnson giving this one to McNeely, over to Foley now. Foley fighting for things here, taken away by Middleborough. Now this one goes past Blanco. Foley giving chase. Gets possession here. Top of your screen. Ball goes out of bounds. Still Marshfield ball. Panagrossi to throw this one in. Over the head of Foley into Blanco's feet. Blanco trying to get around the defenders. Ball goes out of bounds. This will just be a goalie ball for Middleborough. Now this one's kicked back to midfield here. And it's going to go out of bounds for a Middleborough ball. Now this one enters Marshfield territory. Panagrossi lets the ball go out of bounds. She's going to take it up from Marshfield, throwing it in over to Foley, I believe. Now this one goes over to O'Mara. Giving this one off Fierro at the bottom of the field here. Fierro now gives this one over to Duffy, and unfortunately it goes out of bounds. Now a Middleborough ball. The ball goes out of bounds again. This time a Marshfield ball. Now on you, Duffy. Trying to get around defenders. Gets it over to Malve, who gives it to McNeely. Now gives it to Foley. Kicks it to midfield, giving this one over to Panagrossi. Panagrossi with a little bit of a breakaway here into Middleborough territory, giving it over to Blanco. That one gets taken away, though. But now Malve trying to keep it in Middleborough territory here. Now this one's back to midfield, over to McNeely. Tries to give this one to Duffy. This one goes to Blanco now in Middleborough territory. Tries to give this to Foley. And now Blanco going to take a shot at the net, and it is caught by the Middleborough goalie. It's a close one there. She didn't have full control at first, but then she was able to ring it in. Another close call there from Middleborough. This one goes back to midfield, but right back into Middleborough territory by McNeely. Foley takes a fall. It's going to drop a penalty. Now a free kick coming for Sarah Foley as she takes a hard fall there. It's going to be Malve to make the kick. Kick is up, and it is caught by the Middleborough goalie. And she's going to punt this one back to midfield. Now this one's in Marshfield territory here. Panagrossi trying to get rid of things here. Gives it over to Foley. Marshfield has good control so far in this game. Had a couple of close calls near the net. Now Duffy giving chase to things here. Giving this one over to Foley. Now gives it to Blanco. Back to Foley. Loses control. Ball close to rolling out of bounds. Foley keeps it in. Now it gets taken away by Middleborough here. Foley still a little banged up from that fall she had earlier. Now the ball goes out of bounds again for a Middleborough throw in. Back and forth in midfield. Ball is going to roll out of bounds here. From Marshfield ball. Panagrossi throwing this one in. Over to Blanco. And that one rolls out of bounds for another Middleborough ball. Now thrown back into play. Ball goes out of bounds again. This time it's a Marshfield ball. Now back in play. Foley. Now this one is going towards the net. Middleborough goalie going to scoop things up here. It was Foley giving over to Panagrossi. Excuse me, that was Malve that took the shot there. Scooped up by Middleborough. Now this one's back to midfield here for Alfiero. Giving this one over to Malve. Now this one goes to Blanco, but it's just ahead of her for the Middleborough goalie to scoop it up once again. It's been a lot of action on the Middleborough side of things, not a lot on the Marshfield side of things. Scardina having an easy game here so far. Now Alfiero near the net, and Middleborough wisely is going to kick it away. Foley giving chase here. Pops it up to McNeely. And she pops it up back to Foley. Foley looking to gain possession here. Keeping the ball from going out of bounds. Trying to cut the ball across. Whistle blown. I believe an offsides call on Sarah Foley. Going to give a free kick to Middleborough from the net. Ball rolls out of bounds again for Panagrossi to throw it in. Now to Malve. Trying to give it to Foley. Ball pops out of bounds again. Still a Marshfield ball. Panagrossi again to throw it in. Over to Blanco. And Blanco kicks it to midfield.
No, not at all. But I feel like it's going to pick back up. I don't know why. It's kind of dark.
Ball goes out of bounds again for a Middleborough ball. It was just past Panagrossi. Now this one's back in play here. Now this one to Panagrossi. Giving this one over to Blanco. Blanco with wide open space. Plenty of green grass ahead of her, but Middleborough goalie going to scoop things up here. Once again, a close call for Middleborough, but the goalie with another save for her team. Marshall, though, keeping this in Middleborough territory here. As a player on the sideline prepares to sub in for Middleborough. Quick whistle will be blown. I think a Middleborough player inadvertently stepped out of bounds, going to drop a Marshfield throw in. Now Malve lets it go out of bounds for a Middleborough throw in. No. Or yes, Middleborough throw in. A little bit of miscommunication for the Sachems there. Now the substitution for Middleborough happening here.
Checking in for Middleborough.
Now we'll resume play here for a Middleborough throw-in. Now this one gets popped up. Right to Blanco. Trying to push it into Middleborough territory here, but it's back and forth in midfield. Now Blanco with a little bit of open space, trying to give this one over Foley. Trying to get some possession from it. Now Foley tries to give this one to Duffy. It's kicked away by Middleborough, back to midfield. And the ball will roll out of bounds for Panagrossi to throw it into Duffy. Now Duffy gives this one into Middleborough territory here. Alfiero trying to give chase. Now O'Mara in there as well. Ball goes out of bounds. It's a Marshfield ball. O'Mara going to throw it in over to McNeely. Now it's Duffy and Alfiero looking for things here. Alfiero now kicking this thing across the field, looking for Foley, but Panagrossi now giving chase. This one now back to midfield here. Panagrossi lets it roll out of bounds. Middleborough throwing incoming. Goes out of bounds again. Now another substitution for Middleborough here.
Checking in for Middleborough.
Ref gives the whistle. Middleborough to throw it in now. Over to Duffy. Now Middleborough in Marshfield territory here. There's going to be O'Mara to give chase. Now Alfiero looking for things here. Gives it back to O'Mara. Gives it over to Duffy. A little bit of space. Under pressure, gives it back to O'Mara. O'Mara across the sideline gives it to Alfiero. Ball goes out of bounds. Marshfield ball. O'Mara throwing this one into Duffy. Gives it over to McNeely. Now McNeely gives it to Foley. No, taken away by Middleborough. Now this one, for the first time this game, going towards Gardena. And she scoops it up for the Rams. "15 minutes into the game, it's been scoreless. A couple of close calls for both teams here. Now Matty Jesse on the sideline with a couple of Middleborough players looking to sub in here. Now Alfiero on the bottom of your screen here. Trying to cut through defenders. Doing her best. Gets taken away though. Middleborough trying to cut through Marshfield territory. Now Johnson kicks it away over to Alfiero. Gives it to Blanco. Inching into Middleborough territory. Now this one's over to Foley. Trying to give this one over to Blanco. She's giving chase. Has a little bit of opportunity. Blanco collides and goes down. No call. Still in Middleborough territory. And now this one's going to the Middleborough goalie. Once again scooped up by the goalie of Middleborough for another close call for the Sachems. Now Duffy. Through the middle here. Trying to bounce around defenders. Cuts it over to Foley. Excuse me, no, that's Blanco. Blanco takes a fall. No call made. Sideline for Marshfield doesn't agree with that one. Now English gives it to Foley. Foley trying to get around a defender here. She gets around her. Tries to make a shot at the net. Alfiero giving chase, but kicked away by the Middleborough goalie. Now Duffy giving chase here. O'Mara in there as well. Duffy takes a little bit of a fall. Alfiero now into things. Ball goes out of bounds. O'Mara to throw it in. Now the substitution will happen for both teams here.
Healy Roach and number 20, Emma Kimmett. Checking in for Middleborough and checking in for Marshfield, number 20.
Matty Jesse coming in for the Rams. Sofia Blanco will come out. Now this one goes over to Duffy here. Malve gives it to McNeely. Tries to get it to Foley, but it's kicked away by Middleborough here. O'Mara gives it a header. Still in Middleborough territory here. Foley giving chase at the top of your screen. Now McNeely pops it up here. Foley still in control. Now gives it to midfield over to Affiero. Now Foley once again giving chase. Rams trying to inch closer and closer into Satcham territory. Now this one goes back to midfield here. Now Middleborough in Marshfield territory. Johnson trying to get rid of things here. It's back to midfield over to Foley, but Middleborough pushes it back into Ram territory. Now Malve tried to have a breakaway there. Middleborough now gets this one into Ram territory. It's going to be English. Try to get rid of things here, as well as Johnson. Now Jesse here. Kicking this one to midfield, taken away by Middleborough. Now Middleborough showing a little bit of defiance here against the Rams defense. Now O'Mara at the bottom of your screen here. In control. Gives this one over to Affiero. Back to Middleborough. English giving chase. Gets past the defender, gives it over to O'Mara. O'Mara juking out a defender, ball goes out of bounds.
Number 11, Savannah Kenneth, checking in.
Coach Gafour not pleased about that play there. Now a Middleborough throw in. I believe a Middleborough substitution also took place during that time. Ball goes out of bounds again. O'Mara to throw it in. Over to Malve. Now to, Affiero. Now O'Mara gives it a header to Duffy here. Now Duffy kicks this one into Middleborough territory. Ball goes out of bounds for a Marshfield ball. Now this one is to Malve. Takes a shot at the net, but it's going to be an easy scoop up for the Middleborough goalie. About halfway through the first half here. Scoreless game so far, but a couple of close calls on both sides of the field. Now Affiero tries to kick this one towards the net, and it just goes over the net. Once again, a close call from Middleborough.
Number 12.
Rams inching
Corey
closer
Campbell,
towards the Satcham
checking
net.
in for Middleborough.
Now this one's back in play over to Duffy in Middleborough territory here. Duffy gets past some defenders here. Tries to kick it toward the net. Scooped up by the Middleborough goalie again. Now this one's kicked to midfield here. Over to Panagrossi. Now this one goes to English. Now Middleborough in control here, inching into Marshfield territory. Johnson trying to get rid of it. Ball will go out of bounds. Will be a Marshfield ball. Now back into play here, and Charlotte Dalton warming up on the sideline to sub in here. But this one's going to Affiero here. Bottom of your screen. Affiero, with the defender on her tail, able to get into Sachem territory. Affiero, though, gives this one over to Jesse. Now Jesse shoots one towards the net, scooped up by the Middleborough goalie. Now this one's going to roll out of bounds for a Middleborough ball. Now the substitution will happen for Marshfield. Charlotte Dalton going to come in for, I believe, Rowan Malve. Yes, Malve will come out. Dalton will go in. A substitution as well for Middleborough. .17:35 and ticking until halftime. Now this one gets thrown back into play by Marshfield. Ball goes out of bounds again. Panagrossi again to throw it in. Now McNeely gives this one over to Foley, who gets this one, tries to get it to, I believe that was Dalton. Ball goes out of bounds again for a Middleborough ball. Now this one's in Sachem territory. It's going to be Jesse to take a shot, scooped up again by the Middleborough goalie. That's been the Rams' biggest challenge so far this game, is that Middleborough goalie. She's been making a lot of great saves for Middleborough. All the Rams need to do is get around her. Now this one's still in Sachem territory. Affiero giving chase there, as well as Jesse. Now Foley at the bottom of your screen. Gonna kick things over to Duffy. Now Duffy through the middle, trying to get through defenders, tries to take a shot at the net. And now Foley looking for it. Now Jesse giving chase, back to midfield here. Now over to Johnson. And she gets out and taken away, but she takes it right back. Trying to give this one over to Affiero. In Sachem territory. Now this one goes into Marshfield territory here, back to midfield, back into Marshfield territory. Scardina now getting ready. English and O'Mara both playing the defense. Ball goes out of bounds.
Mary Cox checking back in for the Sachems, and checking in for the Rams is number 5, Audrey Tombino.
And Audrey Tombino will sub in for the Rams. Affiero will come out. Now Middleborough to throw this one in. Over to Jesse, now to Tombino. The ball will go out of bounds again. I believe it will still be a Middleborough ball. Now this one back and forth here. English fighting for possession. In Marshfield territory here. Now Duffy giving chase. Dalton in there as well. Now Jesse giving chase here. Ball will go out of bounds, and I believe a penalty will also be called for a little bit of extracurricular activity there by Maddie Jesse. free kick from about the 45 for Middleborough. This one gets kicked into Marshfield territory here. And now Jesse kicks this one over to Timbino, bringing this one back into midfield. Now this one over to Dalton. Gives this one over to Duffy, no. Middleborough kicking it back to midfield, trying to inch into Marshfield territory. Now O'Mara fighting for things here. Timbino in there as well. Now here comes English. Ball almost goes out of bounds. Does not. Now English in control here. Giving this one over to Foley. And Foley gets around the defender. Kicking this one over to Duffy. And Dalton also in there as well. Dalton now to the left of the net. Ball gets kicked away by Middleborough. But now with that, I believe it's going to drop a Marshfield corner kick, and it will. And a quick timeout taken by Middleborough. And we'll take a quick break for that here on Marshfield Community Media.
MCM coverage of MHS Sports is proudly presented by Repel Pest Solutions,
Biviano General Contracting.
Road to Responsibility.
Back here on Marshfield Community Media for girls varsity soccer. 0-0, 12 and a half minutes until halftime. Corner kick coming up for the Rams. Ben Wilson for Marshfield Community Media bringing you the play-by-play action for tonight's matchup. I believe it will be Johnson to make the kick. Kick is up. And it is given a header by English. Ref blows the whistle. Not sure what the call was. I believe they're going to redo the corner kick. I don't think Jesse kicked on the ref's signal. Regardless, Rams going to have another opportunity to make a save. He kicks this one towards the net, and it is blocked by Middleborough. Into the hands of the Middleborough goalie once again. Now this one goes to midfield. Now in Marshfield territory here at the top of your screen. Foley in control, taking this across midfield into Middleborough territory. Now Panagrossi gives this one a big kick into Satcham territory. Now this one to Foley. Give this one over to Dalton, now to Duffy. Now Foley going to take a big shot towards the net, blocked by a Middleborough player. Now Duffy in control here, takes a little bit of a fall, whistle will be blown. And it will be a free kick for Middleborough. Now Sofia Blanco on the sideline, ready to sub in for the Rams, but the free kick for Middleborough is up towards midfield here. Over the head of Dalton, over to Panagrossi here, who lets it roll out of bounds for a Middleborough ball. And now a substitution for both Marshfield and Middleborough. Sofia Blanco comes in for the Rams. Anya Duffy will come out. Now back and forth in midfield here. Both teams jockeying for position. It's in Marshfield territory, but just like that, it goes back to midfield. Sofia Blanco giving chase now here. A little bit of a breakaway. Tries to get this one towards the net. That one's just going to roll out of bounds. Just under 10 minutes to go until halftime. Another substitution for Middleborough happens here. Now Dalton in Middleborough territory, trying to give it over to Timbino. Ball goes out of bounds. It will be a Marshfield ball. Panagrossi to throw it in for the Rams. Tries to give it to McNeely. Goes over to Jesse now. Now that one once again into the hands of the Middleborough goalie. Now McNeely tries to give it to Dalton. Middleborough, though, kicks this one into Marshfield territory. Ball goes out of bounds for a Middleborough ball. Now this one going towards Scardina for the first time in a while. We haven't seen Scardina touch the ball too much this game. She's going to give this one over to Johnson here. And Johnson now boot this one over to midfield, but Middleborough pushing back into Marshfield territory here. Ball goes out of bounds again. Panagrossi to throw it in for the Rams. Out of bounds again. This time it's Dalton throwing it in for the Rams. Now Jesse tries to give it to Timbino. Timbino giving chase, trying not to let it go out of bounds. Ball will go out of bounds though. And it will be a Marshfield corner kick. It's going to be Sarah Foley to make the kick for the Rams. 6.5 minutes until halftime. We are scoreless so far. It's been a lot of Marshfield, not a lot of Middleborough. Foley gets the kick, and it is not scored. Middleborough kicks it out of bounds, though, which will drop another corner kick for the Rams. Even though they made the stop, Foley going to get redemption here at the corner kick. Kick is up. And it is over to Blanco here. Blanco at the top of the field, trying to get it back towards the middle. Ball goes out of bounds. For a Marshfield ball. Now Johnson boots this one towards the net. Picked up by Middleborough here. Now Timbino. Goes out of bounds. O'Mara to throw it in here. Now over to English. And English now tries to get it to Jesse, but it goes over to O'Mara here. Gives it to Jesse. Goes to Foley, back to Jesse. Jesse in the middle here. Trying to get this one over to Blanco. Excuse me, that was Dalton, the intended person there. Now this one's in Marshfield territory here. Johnson giving chase, giving this one over to Panagrossi. And Panagrossi gives this one over to Dalton. Gives it to Foley, tries to give it to Blanco, kicked away by Middleborough. Now Foley. Possession here, trying to get it around the Middleborough defense. Now Blanco with possession here. Giving this one over to Timbino. Ball gets popped up again, and into the hands of the Middleborough goalie. Just under 4 minutes until halftime. Rowan Malve on the sideline for the Rams, ready to sub in. Now McNeely and Panagrossi looking to get possession here. Middleborough being defiant. Ball goes out of bounds for Panagrossi to throw it in, but quickly Rowan Malve will enter in for the Rams. Sarah Foley will come out, and Panagrossi will be set to throw it in for the Rams. Malve comes in, Foley goes out, and Panagrossi to throw this one in for the Rams. Right over to Malve. Ball goes out of bounds for a Middleborough ball. And ball will go out of bounds again. This time it's Marshfield, excuse me, no, it's a Middleborough ball. Now this one goes towards Scardina in the net, and she scoops it up for the Rams. Now Scardina boots this one in midfield, but Middleborough pushing back into Marshfield territory. And now a quick penalty called on Marshfield, I believe. Middleborough going to get a free kick from about the 40-yard line. Or excuse me, the 35-yard line. And no, I was right, from about the 40. A little bit of miscommunication there between Middleborough player and the referee there, no big deal. Free kick from about the 40. Kick is up, and it is off the hands of Scardina. Scardina makes the big block for the Rams. Now this one's over to Blanco. A little bit of green grass ahead of her there. Now Malve giving chase here. Malve gets through a defender, takes a shot at the net. Kicked away by Middleborough. Still close to the net though. Middleborough trying to kick it away. Now it will be Jesse to take a shot. Ball almost goes in. Back and forth in front of the net there, but scooped up by Middleborough. Close call there. Rowan Malve was in there. Maddie Jesse was in there. Sophia Blanco was in there. All trying to score for the Rams, but the Middleborough goalie and her teammates able to keep it away. Now with under 2 minutes to go left in the first half here, the clock in James G. Anderson Field will shut off, so I am unfamiliar with how much time is left. Now this one's popped up to O'Mara. Over to McNeely, ball goes out of bounds for a Middleborough ball. Now a quick timeout called by Middleborough. We'll keep you right here on Marshfield Community Media for that. It's been a lot of Marshfield so far. We've had a couple of close calls from Middleborough, but the goalie in the net of Middleborough, defiant against the Rams, just making saves left and right, keeping the ball away from the net. She definitely has been the MVP for the Satchams today. And the Rams are pushing forward though, trying to get to the net. We've seen a lot of Sofia Blanco, a lot of Rowan Malve, Sarah Foley. We've seen a lot of them today. Under 2 minutes to go in the first half here. I don't know if we'll see a goal, but I can predict that we can see a goal in the second half here. Marshfield looking to break that 3-game losing streak, and Middleborough looking to bounce back after that loss they just had. And Coach Gaffer, vocal as ever to his team in the huddle there, trying to hype up his players. The Rams are doing good so far, pushing forward into Satcham territory, just haven't been able to find the net. And now the Rams will take the field again. Satcham's still in the huddle. Now the Satchams will take the field here. Just under 2 minutes until halftime. It'll be a Satcham throw-in to start this back up.
I think it's because he's getting dark.
Now this one thrown in by Middleborough here. And the ball will go out of bounds. Once again, a Middleborough ball. It was O'Mara trying to give it a header. Goes out of bounds. And O'Mara again kicks it out of bounds. Ball goes out of bounds again, though. But it's going to be Scardina to take this one for the Rams. She'll give this one over to Johnson. Gives this one a big kick over to Tambino. And Malve looking for things too. Now over to Jesse. Now Jesse gives this one over to Blanco. Down the sideline. Blanco kicks things to the middle. Over to Dalton. And now Jesse tries to give it a kick towards the net, and it'll go to the left and out of bounds. And that will end the first half here in James G. Anderson Field just before the free kick from Middleborough. But regardless, first half is over. It is scoreless. Rams have been pushing into Middleborough territory, but both teams unable to score. We'll be right back on Marshfield Community Media.
MCM coverage of MHS sports is proudly presented by
Biviano General Contracting.
Biviano General Contracting is Marshfield's leading custom modular house builder. Modular building saves time and money. Only 8 to 12 weeks for the entire build, saving up to 25% of the cost compared to traditional building. We also offer custom deck building, kitchen and bathroom remodels, additions, and house elevations.
More information can be found at bivianocontracting.com.
Repel Pest Solutions. Repel Pest Solutions is a full-service pest control company protecting residential and commercial properties from nuisance pests that carry germs and diseases. They are a small, family-run business from Marshfield, licensed, insured, competitively priced. We work to understand your needs and offer an integrated pest solution that's environmentally friendly. Don't be afraid to bug us. Road to Responsibility. Founded in 1988, Road to Responsibility's mission is to provide the means, the opportunity, and the support necessary to allow citizens with disabilities to take their place as productive members of the community. We are committed to providing all individuals with opportunities to truly live in the community. Through our services, we are proud to enrich and improve the lives of every individual, one person at a time.
Back in James G. Anderson for the second half of girls. Varsity soccer Rams have already taken the field in Middleborough, still on the sideline discussing some second half strategy. Scoreless game so far, but it's been a lot of Marshfield into Middleborough territory. We've had a lot of Middleborough close calls, but the Middleborough goalie always making the save for her team. So hopefully the Rams can stick it in the back of the net this half. Middleborough still trying to find a nice way around the Rams defense. We only saw about 2 or 3 times where we saw the Sachems get through the Rams defense towards Scardina in the net, but unable to score on all those attempts there. And the Sachems take the field here for the second half. It'll be Sofia Blanco to kick things off for the Rams. Said Blanco's a name a lot today. She's had a couple of close calls towards the net for the Rams. Hopefully she puts one in for them. Alfiero back in the game as well. She subbed out late in the first half. And the ref gives the whistle to kick things off for the second half. This one goes over to Duffy, who gives this one over to Malve. Now to Blanco. Just like that, we've got a close breakaway here. But Middleborough trying to kick it away here. Now the Rams catching the Sachems on their toes there. And just like that, we are off to a Marshfield corner kick for the 3rd time today. The Rams can have a corner kick here. Kick is up towards the net, and it is just over the heads of all the players. Now the ref blows a quick whistle. Going to drop a free kick for Middleborough. That was Rowan Malve making the corner kick there. Now Alfiero gives it a header to Blanco, still in Sachem territory. Now Foley gives this one over to O'Mara. Marshfield inching closer and closer towards the net, but Middleborough kicks it away here. Over to O'Mara to give it a header. Now this one goes out of bounds for O'Mara to throw it in for the Rams. Ball goes out of bounds again. Another Marshfield throw in. Now Blanco with the defender right on top of her, trying to get the ball away here. Ball goes out of bounds. We'll drop another Marshfield corner kick. Rowan Malve again to make the kick for the Rams. Looking for some redemption on the last one. Their 4th of the game. Kick is up. Everybody jumps, and it is over the net. And the ball goes out of bounds. And I believe with the ball going out of bounds, it'll draw up another Marshfield corner kick. Their 3rd of the half and their 5th of the game. Malve again on the kick. Kick is up. Everyone jumps, and it is to the side of the net. Now Middleborough tries to kick this one midfield, but Timbino keeping it in Sachem territory. Now to midfield, over to Johnson. Now the Sachems finally in Marshfield territory here, but Johnson getting rid of it here, sending this one back into Sachem territory here, over to Blanco. in Middleborough possession here. Duffy giving chase. She's got possession now. Duffy giving this one over to Blanco. And Blanco tries to have a breakaway there. Kicked out of bounds by Middleborough, wisely keeping it away from the net. Now thrown in by Timbino. Gives this one over to Foley. Now to Timbino. Ball goes out of bounds again for Timbino to throw in.
No heavy burden.
Now this one inching into Marshfield territory here. Duffy giving chase. Trying to get this one out of Marshfield territory. Ball goes out of bounds. Middleborough to throw it in. Back and forth here at the top of the field in Marshfield territory. Now a big kick towards Scardina, and she catches it for the Rams. Now Scardina tries to get it to midfield, but Middleborough now going to keep it in Marshfield territory. Now Johnson gives this one over to Jesse. Now a quick penalty called on Jesse. Free kick from Middleborough here. This one's going to be from around the 30.
Wait, I have an idea. I can put my coat over this camera. Yeah, I'll do that next time we have a stoppage.
Kick is up towards Scardina in the net, and she catches it for the Rams. Scardina with the big save there. Now going to kick this one over to Foley. Foley gives this one over to English. Now to Alfiero at the bottom of the field. Now this one back into Marshfield territory here. We haven't seen too much. We didn't see too much of this in the first half. Now a substitution for Middleborough.
McDonald checking back in for Middleborough.
Now this one gets popped way up in the air. The rain starting to sprinkle down here in James Janderson Field, making the conditions a little more slipperier. And now an injury on the field for Middleborough. And with that, we're going to take a quick break here in MCM.
MCM coverage of MHS Sports is proudly presented by Repel Pest Solutions,
Biviano General Contracting.
Road to Responsibility. MCM coverage of MHS Sports is proudly presented by
Biviano General Contracting.
Biviano General Contracting is Marshfield's leading custom modular house builder. Modular building saves time and money. Only 8 to 12 weeks for the
Back here in Marshfield Community Media after the quick injury timeout there. The player is on her feet and will be coming off the field. In the meantime, somebody will sub in for her.
Back in for Middleborough.
33 minutes to go in this game, still
Number 15,
scoreless.
Mary Cox.
We've seen quite a bit of Middleborough and Marshfield territory so far this half. Now this one over to Johnson. Kicks this one away from the net. Fierro now giving chase on the sideline here. This one's deep in Marshfield territory, not where the Rams want it to be. Ball goes out of bounds. It will be a Marshfield, excuse me, no, it'll be a Middleborough ball. Now the rain's starting to come down, the wind's starting to pick up here in James G. Now Timbino giving chase here, getting it back to midfield over to Blanco now in Satcham territory. Blanco getting through a couple of defenders. At the top of the field, Blanco in Satcham territory here. Ball goes out of bounds. It will be a Marshfield ball. Ball keeps going out of bounds here. Both teams duking for position here at the top of the field. Now this one back to the middle here. O'Mara giving chase. Back and forth in midfield. Now this one's going into Marshfield territory. It's going to be Johnson to give it a header. Player on the sideline ready to sub in for Middleborough. Now Fierro giving chase here. Not going to have the inch. Middleborough going to kick it out of bounds. Fierro quickly going hurry up here. Going to throw it in bounds. This one gets popped up. Fierro gives it a header. Over to Malve. Bottom of the field here. Tries to give this one away. Ball goes out of bounds. It will be a Marshfield ball. English throws it into Fierro. Ball goes out of bounds again. This time it's a Middleborough ball. Middleborough saw the link for that substitution. Refs didn't notice him there. Now this one's back over to midfield here. Middleborough in possession, trying to get it from going out of bounds. They will not be able to do so. Ball will go out of bounds for O'Mara to throw it in for the Rams. Now this one's in Satcham territory. It's deep. And now Blanco gives it over to Malve. She shoots and scores, but a whistle was blown beforehand. I believe there will be a penalty called. Now the substitution for Middleborough going to take place here. Not exactly sure what happened. I think Sofia Blanco might have had a penalty called on her there, so the goal will not count. And it will be a free kick for Middleborough from outside their own net. Now McNeely on the sideline looking to sub in for the Rams. Now this one still in Satcham territory. It's Timbino trying to push it in. Now Duffy tries to make a kick towards the net. It goes off the back of Blanco. Now Jesse gives it to Foley. Over to Malve. Now to Fierro. Fierro giving chase. Now over to English. English tries to give it over to Malve. Fierro trying to give chase as well. Ball will go out of bounds for a Marshfield ball. English to throw it in for the Rams. Over to Foley. Now Foley gives it to English, who kicks it towards Blanco. And Blanco takes a fall. No call made. Rams sideline not pleased with that. Ball will go out of bounds, and it will be Marshfield ball. Now, the substitution will take place here. McNeely going to come into the game, and Matty Jesse will come out for the Rams.
Back in for Middleborough is Addison Baser.
Boys varsity soccer team in attendance here tonight, cheering on the girls here. They play Dartmouth tomorrow in an away game, and that will start the playoffs for them, so good luck to them tomorrow. Now Offiero trying to break through. Quick penalty called. And will drop a free kick for Marshfield. It'll be Johnson to make the kick. Decent ways away from the net. Johnson with a big kick over to Duffy here. And this one is looking like it's going to go out of bounds. Now Blanco gives it a kick. And it will be a free kick for Middleborough. .27 minutes to go here in the second half. Scoreless thus far. It's been a lot of back and forth action between the Rams and the Satchams. Now this one goes over to McNeely, who had a little bit of a flop there by Middleborough, but it'll drop a penalty. Quick penalty called, drop a free kick for Middleborough on what we'll say is a controversial call. Now the rain really starting to come down here in James G. The conditions heating up here. Now this one at the top of the field in Marshfield territory. Ball will go out of bounds for a throw in here. And now looked like O'Mara might have jumped the gun there.
Well, this thing I need a timeout.
Now back and forth in Marshfield territory here. Rams trying to push it back to midfield. Duffy now in possession. Takes a quick slip on the slippery field. That's how it is. The rain's coming down. The field's going to be slick. But they're going to call it as a penalty against Middleborough for Johnson to make a kick. This one looking for Blanco, but it's going to be Middleborough to give it a header to midfield. But now Duffy pushing into Middleborough territory here. Giving this one over to Malve. Malve trying to give this one over to Offiero. Ball will almost go out of bounds. Middleborough. It's going to go out of bounds, but Middleborough kept it from being a corner kick. Now Offiero. Possession here. Gives this one over to Blanco. Blanco under heavy pressure here. 4 defenders on top of Offiero trying to get it towards the net. Scooped up by the Middleborough goalie. Another big save from the Middleborough goalie. She's been all over the ball this game. Rams have been trying to push it into Satcham territory, but it's been the Middleborough goalie making save after save. Now English giving this one over to Offiero. Gives it over to Duffy. Now giving this one over to Timbino right down the middle. Giving this one over to Foley. Foley's giving chase. Tries to take a shot at the net. Blocked by the Middleborough goalie. But the ball will go out of bounds and will drop a Marshfield corner kick. Their 6th of the game. 4th of the half. Timbino to make the kick for the Rams. Kick is up, and it is going to hit the side of the net. Now a substitution for Middleborough will take place.
Julia Gray checking back in for Middleborough.
Now this one goes towards Alfiero, who takes a fall. Now this one, midfield's here to McNeely. Gives this one over to Foley. Now gives this one over to Alfiero. Alfiero giving chase here. Takes a big collision with a Middleborough player. No call made. Marshfield stands not happy with that one, especially the boys soccer team as they're watching the game here. And now the Middleborough player who collided with Alfiero is still down on the field. And that will draw an injury timeout. The player is on their feet. But refs did blow the whistle just to be safe. The Middleborough player is still in the game. Maybe just got the wind knocked out over there with that collision. And she'll still be in the game. And Foley getting ready to throw it back in for the Rams. Now this one's back in play here. Blanco and Alfiero both looking forward here. Now Alfiero tries not to let the ball go out of bounds, but unfortunately it will. And the boys soccer team not happy with that call. Now Alfiero gives it a header. Middleborough kicking it over to McNeely over her head. Now to Timbino. Now Duffy. Now Duffy up the middle. Takes a shot at the net. Caught by the Middleborough goalie. Another save for Middleborough. Now this one's going over to Blanco again in Satcham territory. Rams pushing it into Satcham territory, just unable to put it in the back of the net. Now Blanco trying to dance around a defender here. Now this one's kicked over to Duffy here at the bottom of the field. And Duffy now, quite a few defenders to face. Now this ball will roll out of bounds, but it will be a Marsh. Wait, whoa. It will not. It is not going to be a Marshfield corner kick. It's going to be a free kick from Middleborough. Even I don't agree with that call. That went off the Middleborough player and rolled out of bounds. That should have been a Marshfield corner kick. Now Duffy kicks this one out of bounds. Rest of the Rams sideline and the stands still unhappy with that call by the ref.
Kelsey Faber checking back in for Middleborough.
I'm going to watch this game back when it's done. That should have been a Marshfield corner kick. Went off the Middleborough player and rolled out of bounds. Not the best call there by the ref. But now Foley giving some over to Malve in Middleborough territory. Tries to take a shot at the net, but it's left. Might have been tipped by a Middleborough player. But the Rams keeping the Satchams on their toes, reaching the 20-minute mark here until the end of the game. Now another kick from Middleborough here. Now big kick going to midfield here. Over to Duffy. Now just going to push it right back into Satcham territory. Just like the first half, we're seeing a lot of Marshfield and Middleborough territory here. You know, Alfiero tries to take a shot at the net. Bounces off a Middleborough player. Goes out of bounds. It's going to be another free kick for the Sachems. Back and forth here. Marshfield side looking for a pushing penalty. Not going to get it. Now this one's in Marshfield territory. Johnson giving chase to things here. It's been a while since we've seen the ball in Marshfield territory. Our ball will go out of bounds for a Middleborough throw-in. Now Johnson trying to get things out of there. And O'Mara going to push the ball out of bounds. And now Foley tries to get this one back to midfield, but now Middleborough pushing a little further into Marshfield territory, but this one goes to Malve here. Giving this one over to Affiero, crossing midfield into Sachem territory. Affiero now with the defender on her tail. Ball almost goes out of bounds. Now Affiero tries to cut it back to the middle. Ball will go to bounds. And this time we'll get that Marshfield corner kick. Their 7th of the game. Tambino again to make the kick for the Rams. Player on the sideline for Middleborough looking to sub in. Kick is up, and it is over the heads of all the players looking to give it a header in there. Still in Middleborough territory, though. Ram trying to push it down. Tambino tries to give it a shot. It goes over her head. Now Malve takes control here. Tries to cut this one towards the net. Over the net. Duffy takes a shot. Goes past the net. The ball will go out of bounds for a Middleborough kick. Couple of close calls again there for the Sachems. Now this one goes over to Affiero. Gives it to Blanco, but no. Into Middleborough possession here. Affiero pops it up here to Duffy. In Sachem territory, this one is going to roll out of bounds for a Marshfield throw-in. Affiero to throw it in for the Rams. Now this one goes over to Foley. Foley under pressure. This one goes back to midfield. Now Johnson giving chase here. No, she's going to take it herself. Back to midfield here. Past McNeely, over to Foley. Now over to O'Mara at the top of the field here. Pops it up. Back and forth here at the top of the field. O'Mara giving chase as well as Johnson. Johnson makes a big kick, takes down a player, and that Middleborough player is still down. And that's going to draw a quick injury timeout here, and we're going to take a quick break for this here on Marshfield Community Media.
MCM coverage of MHS Sports is proudly presented by
Biviano General Contracting.
Biviano General Contracting is Marshfield's leading custom modular house builder. Modular building saves time and money. Only 8 to 12 weeks for the entire build, saving up to 25% of the cost compared to traditional building. We also offer custom deck building, kitchen and bathroom remodels, additions, and house elevations.
More information can be found at bivianocontracting.com.
Repel Pest.
Looked like that player might have been a little overdramatic there. Tried to catch the penalty there with a flop. She's back on her feet, still in the game. It's going to be a Middleborough throw-in with about 15 and a half minutes to go until the end of the game. Now Middleborough tries to make a quick kick towards the net. Goes out of bounds. Now Johnson to kick this one away for the Rams. Now Blanco giving chase, a little bit of grass ahead of her. Johnson tries to cut it across the middle. Gets hit by a Middleborough player. It'll be a Marshfield throw-in. Afir again going to throw it in for the Rams. She gives this one over to Foley. Under pressure, gives it to Duffy. Gets popped up over to Blanco. And back and forth here. It's going to be a Marshfield corner kick. Their 8th of the game. 6 of the half. Corner kick coming up. It's Tambino again to make the kick for the Rams. Group forms in front of the net. Chance to take the lead. Tambino kicks it a little low, and it hits the post of the net. But Foley now going to take control here. Gives it a shot, and it just goes over the net. Another close call for the Sachems. We've had countless today. Now Middleborough just going to kick it away from their own net. Ball goes out of bounds again. It will be a Middleborough throw in here. 13.5 left in the game. Now Johnson gives a header over to Duffy. Under heavy pressure, Duffy trying to get around the defense there. Gives it over to English. Now this one in Marshfield territory here. English giving chase. Giving this one over to Johnson, who gives it to Affiero here. She gives this one to Foley. Foley gives it over to Malve. Now Malve, Foley giving chase here in Sachem territory. Ball goes out of bounds. It'll be a Marshfield ball. And Foley throws this one in to Duffy. Now Middleborough just trying to keep it away from that sideline there, trying to avoid the corner kick, and just like that, we almost had a goal there. Malve with a big kick there. And a one-handed catch by the Middleborough goalie. We've seen nothing but Ram control. Now Foley takes a shot at the net. Caught by the Middleborough goalie again. Middleborough goalie been on point today, making the saves for the Sachems. Now this one's still in Sachem territory. Rams trying to push it in. They just can't do it. Now this one gets booted to midfield by the Middleborough goalie, but Duffy kicks this one over to Foley to inch it back into Sachem territory. Now Malve trying to get around a defender here. Foley trying to assist. Malve trying to dance around. This one goes over to McNeely, who gives it to Duffy. Now Duffy gives this one over to Blanco in between two defenders there. Now Sofia Blanco gives this one over to Affiero. Kicks this back to Blanco over her head. Now Tambino looking forward here. She takes a fall. Quick penalty. And it'll be a free kick for Middleborough. And a quick timeout taken by Middleborough there after that quick scare. So for that, we'll take a quick timeout break here on Marshfield Community Media.
MCM coverage of MHS Sports is proudly presented by Repel Pest Solutions,
Biviano General Contracting.
Road to Responsibility. MCM coverage of MHS Sports is proudly presented by Repel Pest Solutions,
Biviano General Contracting.
Road to Responsibility.
Kieran James, Janderson Field on Marshfield Community Media. This ball back into play here at midfield. Duffy giving this one over to Malve. No. But yes, back to Malve here. Now this one goes over the head of Affiero. Middleborough giving chase. And wisely going to let it roll out of bounds and avoid the corner kick. Approaching the 10-minute mark here in this game. Deadlocked at nothing. Now Middleborough kicking this one away. Malve trying to get it out. Now Affiero throwing this one in from going out of bounds. Over to Malve. Under pressure. Defender right on top of her. Ball goes out of bounds. It's going to be a Middleborough ball again. Another free kick for Middleborough from their own net. Now Foley inside from territory, giving this one over to Malve. Trying to give it to Blanco. Affiero giving chase here now. Ball rolling out of bounds. Corner kick for Marshfield. I believe it will be their 9th of the game. This time it's Affiero making the kick for the Rams. Kick is up, and it is no good. Now this one goes over to Duffy. Still inside from territory. Duffy trying to cut it across the middle. Ball will go out of bounds, and it will be another Marshfield corner kick. It'll be Malve. It'll be Malve making the kick now for the Rams. Kick is up, and it is blocked by Middleborough, and the ball will go out of bounds, and Malve be able to put the ball right back where she put it for another corner kick. I believe now it's their 10th or 11th of the game. Hard to keep track after a while. Kick is up again, and it is blocked by Middleborough. Goes out of bounds. Or no, it's still in bounds. And Malve now trying to cut it across the middle. Hits the side of the net. Now it goes out of bounds for Middleborough to kick it out of their own net. Still inside some territory. We've seen a lot of action on this side of the field this half. Now Duffy giving this one Or trying to give it over to Foley. It will go out of bounds, though. Now it actually will drop a Marshall corner kick. Malve on the kick again. Kick is up, and it is no good. Still in close to the net, and it is not scored. Now this one going over to Malve. Off Fierro giving chase as well. Duffy in there too. Ball goes out of bounds. It'll be a Middleborough ball. Off Fierro gives it a header as it comes back into play. Foley giving chase. McNeely's in there. Foley pops it up here. Tries to give it over to Blanco. No. Quick slip up by a Middleborough player. No contact really made to her, but it'll drop a penalty and a free kick for Middleborough. We're approaching 5 minutes left. Scoreless thus far. Now the free kick in Marshfield territory. Johnson trips up there. Now another collision with Johnson with a Middleborough player. No call made for both collisions. Now Middleborough kicking this one towards Scardina at the net. Johnson gives it a header away from Scardina. Now swing Tombino. Gives it over McNeely. Now to Foley at midfield. Foley now trying to get it to Malve. Kicked away by Middleborough. Over to Duffy now. Now this one goes over to Malve, who tries to give it to Affiero. She's giving chase here. Affiero now trying to cut across the middle. Affiero taking a shot at the net and is just missed. A little too far to the right. Skims past the post. Now we're at the 5-minute mark here. Once we reach 5 minutes in James G, the clock will shut off, so I'm unaware how much time is left. Now this one going to get kicked back to midfield here. Now on the top of the field here in Marshfield territory, Rams kicking it away. Over to Tombino, gives it over to Foley. Now Foley with a defender on their tail. Now this one's in Saxon territory. Blanco tries to take possession, but wisely Middleborough is going to kick it away. I think Middleborough at this point just wants to tie rather than lose. A tie for the Rams will break that 3-game losing streak. Now this one gets kicked to Duffy at midfield. Over to Malve now, trying to give it to Blanco. Now Affiero giving chase as well. Middleborough again kicks it out of bounds. Now, that's Malve to throw it in for the Rams. Now Duffy takes a shot towards the net, scooped up by the Middleborough goalie. Now she's going to run a little clock by holding it herself. Kicks this one to midfield. Now Duffy with some pressure, giving this one over to Tombino. Again in Saxon territory, giving this one over to Malve. Clean shot, blocked by Middleborough. Still has possession, takes another shot, blocked by Middleborough. Maybe the scariest moment of the game for Middleborough. Malve got the ball back after that first shot was blocked. But Middleborough's goalie again making the save and kicking it back to midfield. But now Tombino giving this one over to Duffy, trying to inch back into Saxon territory. Now the Sachems Giving this one into Marshfield territory, and Johnson going to make a big kick to midfield. Ball will go out of bounds, but it's away from Marshfield territory. Ball goes out of bounds again. And I believe a whistle was blown. Not sure what signal is here. Now the referee gonna pull the whistle. Game's back in play here. Ball will go out of bounds again. This time will be a Marshfield throw in. Now Duffy. Duffy trying to get out of Marshfield territory. Now they do. Across midfield. Now to Foley. And Foley trying to get around some defenders here. Gives it over to Malve. Goes past her. Scooped up by the Middleborough goalie. Under 5 minutes to go. Not sure how much time is left. But the time has to be winding down here. Now at midfield. Timbino. And Timbino giving it over to Affiero. And Blanco now giving some chase here. And the ball goes out of bounds. And now a substitution will be made for Middleborough.
Addison Baser. Baser checking in for Middleborough.
Now this one's kicked from the Middleborough net. Back to midfield over to McNeely. And McNeely now getting this one to Timbino down the sideline. Timbino trying to give this one to Foley. Middleborough, though, trying to keep it away. And the referee will blow the whistle.
All right, folks. We are going into overtime.
And we are now entering overtime in James G. Anderson Field. This is big time, ladies and gentlemen. Deadlocked at 0. Overtime is now going to begin. We've seen all Marshfield, but they haven't been able to put it in the net. We rarely see it go into overtime, but it being playoffs, we are going into overtime. Deadlocked at nothing. Both teams are going to huddle up, discuss some strategies, and for that, we'll take a quick break here on Marshfield Community Media.
MCM coverage of MHS Sports is proudly presented by Repel Pest Solutions,
Biviano General Contracting.
Road to Responsibility. MCM coverage of MHS Sports is proudly presented by Repel Pest Solutions,
Biviano General Contracting.
Road to Responsibility.
Back here on Marshfield Community Media, entering overtime here in James G. Anderson Field, Rams versus Satchams. So here is how it's going to work. We will play a 10-minute overtime period. If nothing happens then, we will play another 10-minute period. If nothing happens by then, we will go into a shootout, and that will decide our winner. But for now, 10 minutes on the clock for overtime here in James D. Anderson Field. On the commentary, I mentioned here and there talking about some ties, but I completely forgot. This is playoffs, and it's win or go home. Rams trying to break that 3-game losing streak, and the Sachems trying to bounce back from that loss against Apponequet. And here we go. Overtime has begun. Teams have switched sides of the field. Scardina's back over to the right side, and Middleborough's back on the left. Excuse me, no, it's the same as when we left. My fault. Now English. Giving this one over to Malve. And Malve going to take a shot towards the net. Or excuse me, no, that's going over to Blanco. Blanco's got an open shot. She takes it off the face of the Middleborough goalie. She blocked the shot, but she took one right to the grill. And now she's going to be down. This would be a big loss for Middleborough if she comes out of the game. Obviously not what you want. And she's back on her feet and back in the net. It looks like we're going to resume play momentarily here. But nonetheless, it's going to be a corner kick for the Rams. I believe Malve's making the kick here. Kick is up. And it is off the head of English, and it is just blocked. And the Middleborough goalie pounces on top of it. A block, and then she bounces right on top of it. Another big save for the Middleborough goalie right after taking a ball to the kisser. Now Foley trying to get this to off here, but Middleborough pushing back here. Foley still in possession. Now kicks this one over to Blanco in front of the net, over her head, but Timbino now giving chase here at the top of the field. And the ball will almost go to bounds. Timbino keeps it in. Now Timbino tries to kick it away, bounces off the Middleborough player, goes out of bounds. Timbino to throw it in for the Rams now. And now ball will go out of bounds again. It's another Marshfield corner kick. Malve's back in the corner for the Rams. I believe now this is their 12th or 13th of the game. Two minutes into overtime, we've already had a couple of scares for Middleborough. Now Malve, kick is up, and it is scored! Marshfield scores in overtime! The corner kick from Rowan Malve. The Rams have done it!
Rams win! Rams
This game is over! Rowan Malve with the corner kick. Goes into the net. Rams win 1-0 in overtime. A big win for the Rams, moving on in the playoffs. Unfortunately, the Sachem season is over. The Rams off to the round of 32, into the playoffs. They're looking forward to Milton, and the Rams celebrate on the field. That's going to do it here on Marshfield Community Media. Charlie Bioty behind the camera, Yvonne Osborne back in the studio. I'm Ben Wilson on play-by-play from James D. Anderson. Good night.
MCM coverage of MHS sports is proudly presented by
Biviano General Contracting.
Biviano General Contracting is Marshfield's leading custom modular house builder. Modular building saves time and money. Only 8 to 12 weeks for the entire build, saving up to 25% of the cost compared to traditional building. We also offer custom deck building, kitchen and bathroom remodels, additions, and house elevations.
More information can be found at bivianocontracting.com.
Repel Pest Solutions. Repel Pest Solutions is a full-service pest control company protecting residential and commercial properties from nuisance pests that carry germs and diseases. They are a small, family-run business from Marshfield, licensed, insured, competitively priced. We work to understand your needs and offer an integrated pest solution that's environmentally friendly. Don't be afraid to bug us. Road to Responsibility. Founded in 1988, Road to Responsibility's mission is to provide the means, the opportunity, and the support necessary to allow citizens with disabilities to take their place as productive members of the community. We are committed to providing all individuals with opportunities to truly live in the community. Through our services, we are proud to enrich and improve the lives of every individual, one person at a time.
Crossing a 50, 40. He's got 2 men to beat. No one's going to catch.
Kick is up, and it is scored.
For 3.
Got it. With the shot, it's in.
Lights out. Good night. Goodbye.
And that's it! Marshfield wins! It's a great serve.
Another one. Drop. And the Rams drop one first here in the Super Bowl.
Nice.
Kick on the field, and it is
Score!